A nation is built upon ideas and ethos more than anything else, be it the people, their culture, religion, or identities. The law of the land and the social norms all reflect the same ideas that the nation is built upon. The same is true for the Indian Constitution as well, which we commemorate every year on Republic Day, that is 26th of January. India or Bharat as a nation is defined and known for its diversity, be it in geography, history, culture, religion, or identities. And it is really a question how all these different kinds of people come together and stand united in one nation. That can only be possible through an idea of nationalism that transcends all of these differences. So, what is that idea of nationalism and how did it come about? That's what we will look at in this video. So, happy Republic Day to you all. The idea of a motherland or Vande Mataram or Bharat Mata were all created from the 1880s onwards. They all marked the very beginning of Indian nationalism that was still forming. But if we have to consider the architects of Indian nationalism as we know today, I think it can be credited to these three great personalities. One, Swami Vivekananda, 2, Gandhiji, and 3, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. I'm not saying that other freedom fighters or nationalists were not significant. They were all very influential in shaping how our country turned out to be. But these 3 figures definitely stand out. Vivekananda especially could be somebody who is not given as much importance in the history of Indian nationalism. But do you agree with me that he was very critical in developing the idea of a nation that we still revere to this day? Please let me know in the comment section. In the later half of the 19th century, when Swami Vivekananda's thoughts and philosophy were only just forming, there were actually 4 types of nationalism taking root in the Indian subcontinent. The first was the secularly oriented Western nationalism of men like Dadabhai Naoroji and Gopalakrishna Gokhale. The Hindu nationalism of leaders like Swami Dayananda Saraswati and Bal Gangadhar Tilak. The Muslim nationalism of Sayyid Ahmad Khan and poet Muhammad Iqbal. And the regional nationalism of Bengal and Maharashtra. Narendranath Datta, who later became Swami Vivekananda, was born on January 12, 1863, which is today celebrated as the International Youth Day. Trained to become a barrister or a lawyer by profession, he turned to spirituality and mysticism pretty young in his life. He became a practicing sannyasi under his Guru Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. After Sri Ramakrishna's death in 1886, Vivekananda devoted his life to spreading the teachings of his Guru and also in regeneration of Hinduism. On September 11, 1893, he delivered his very famous address to the Parliament of Religions. Through that one address, he was able to spread the message of Vedanta and the glory of Indian spirituality and Indian and Hindu philosophy to the world, especially America, and to effectively show the world that India was not a land of just mysticism or blind faith or religion, but of a great philosophy and of great civilizational values. In all of Vivekananda's speeches and writings, there were 3 prominent ideas. One was that he had a very important mission to complete, which was to spread the messages of Vedanta and Indian philosophy to the world. The second was his conviction of the indestructibility of the Indian soul and the invincibility of Indian spirituality. He felt that India had a spiritual soul which was unique to itself and could not be found anywhere else. And the third idea was that nationalism was the only effective and adequate instrument for the fulfillment of India's destiny. He repeated that India is still the first and the foremost of all nations in the world because it was the motherland of philosophy and spirituality, ethics and human love. And that was what he was offering to the West in exchange for the liberty and self-sufficiency of this great nation. On December 24, 1892, Swami Vivekananda reached Kanyakumari after a long journey that started from Kolkata in 1888. He is said to have jumped into the sea and swam all the way to the rock, where he meditated for 3 days. Coming back, he said that at Kanyakumari, sitting at the last bit of Indian soil, I hit upon a plan. He wanted to unite all Hindus and awaken the spirit of nationalism in them through spirituality, nationalism, selflessness, and service to others. He believed in humanism and universalism, which were also the cornerstones of Indian philosophy. Now, Swami Vivekananda's contribution to Hindu nationalism and Indian nationalism is incomplete without also talking about how he worked to eradicate social injustice and inequality within the folds of Hinduism. He said that India's doom was sealed the very day they invented the word milita and stopped from communion with others. But he was also not a politician by no means, but a sannyasi. But the politicians who were following in his footsteps were greatly influenced by him, and that included Gandhiji and also Subhash Chandra Bose. During a speech Gandhiji delivered at Belur Mutt, which is the headquarters of Ramakrishna Mission, in 1921, he said, I have gone through his works very thoroughly, and after having gone through them, the love that I had for my country became 1,000-fold. I ask you, young men, not to go away empty-handed without imbibing something of the spirit of the place where Swami Vivekananda lived and died. Gandhiji always had a desire to meet Swami Vivekananda. Even though they were contemporaries, they never had the opportunity to meet. And as we know, Swami Vivekananda also died very young at the age of 39. Most of Gandhiji's ideas, including Satyagraha and Ahimsa, all come from the Hindu philosophy, which could have also been inspired from the works of Swami Vivekananda. Gandhiji also promoted selfless service and also spread the glory of Indian philosophy to the West, which made Gandhiji a formidable force against British India. His ideas of equality and liberty, of human nature and renunciation, spiritual compassion and fearlessness or courage all comes from Swami Vivekananda or their common denominator, that is the Hindu philosophy or Hindu spirituality. And once again, Gandhiji felt quite strongly against the injustices and inequalities in India at the time. And that includes untouchability, caste inequalities, and also communalism. As a nation, we give so much importance to our culture and our civilizational values and the ancient traditions that were handed down to us from ages. It can be seen in all areas of polity, governance, administration, defense, and so on. Now, the injustices and inequalities that remained within the folds of the religion were definitely a pertinent problem that had to be eradicated. And the third central figure in Indian nationalism comes into picture in that perspective. Well, it goes without saying that I don't have a sponsor yet. But not to worry, I will sponsor my own video. More precisely, my book with. This is the first book that I wrote. It's a realistic fiction novel about 4 teens in a city, enmeshed in a life of drugs, love, violence and chaos. A tale of isolation and desperation one feels among known strangers in an unknown city. Well, this book is available on Amazon and Flipkart. The links will be in the description. I will also share the link to the video trailer of the book, so check them out. And now back to the video. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar was born on April 14th, 1891. We all know Ambedkar to be the person who drafted the Indian Constitution, but he had led his political career fighting the injustice of untouchability and social inequalities of caste system within India. And through his demand for a separate electorate, then the Pune Pact, that he backed out of that demand. But his constant struggle against these inequalities have definitely shaped how we look at these problems in India. He has been central to creating the reservation policy for uplifting the minorities of this country. But as we know, he is better known as the chairman of the drafting committee of the Constitution, or we think that he was the person who drafted Indian Constitution. But turns out that's not how it happened. On 25th November 1949, when he was giving the concluding speech in the Constituent Assembly, he said, "The credit that is given to me does not really belong to me. It belongs partly to Sir B.N. Rao, the constitutional advisor to the Constituent Assembly, who prepared a rough draft of the Constitution for the consideration of the drafting committee." So it was not B.R. Ambedkar who drafted the Indian Constitution, but B.N. Rao. He was just his chairperson for reviewing and finalizing the draft of the Constitution of our nation. Did you know that this was how it was? If you did, please let me know. And I think that we should table that entire topic for another video. So I am ending this video right here. So happy Republic Day to you all. On this Republic Day, remember the ideals of this nation and what it was built upon. If you like this video, please share it with somebody and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Until we meet next time, bye bye.